Welcome everybody to the second episode of the Boxing Weekly. You'll notice the name's changed a little bit. I personally think it's a little bit of a better name. This week I've got with me a great personality over in Miami. He's doing some really good stuff on his channel at the moment. Got some great views, says it how he sees it. Jay Cotto joins me today. How are you, mate?
Hey Adam, how you doing, buddy? Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? What's up, fight fans? Hashtag come back to boxing, and just peace to the fight guru and everybody over at the YTPC. Excellent. How you doing, Adam, man? Great show, by the way, man. Awesome.
Yeah, excellent, mate. Yeah, thanks so much, and thanks so much for coming on. It's so hard to get people on, obviously, when your name's not that big. So I do really appreciate it, mate. So let's crack straight into it. I'm really glad I got you on because I wanted to talk about the Top Rank Haymon lawsuit. First of all, it's a monopoly claim, which I don't know much more about the law itself. I don't know what you know, but basically, does Bob Arum? Do you think Bob Arum has a case here?
I think Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya have a case. They don't have cases. There are other accusations as to Haymon basically buying out, certain venues and stuff and not actually putting anything in there, just buying them so that way by the time they get rented out and stuff like that, it's already taken. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
stuff like that. As to him, the Muhammad Ali Act. Basically, I was the first one to talk about it on YouTube, and everybody's been catching on, which is great. The thing here is, with the Muhammad Ali Act, nobody really exercises this, and this is that I don't understand. It was made, it's an act. It was made, by Congress. I just don't understand why they don't exercise that law. It's law, right? So it also prevents certain promoters from becoming managers as well. Basically getting their hands into everything.
Yeah. And
what Al Haymon is basically doing on that part is he's doing that. He's being a promoter. He's being a manager as well, and that's not able to do that in boxing. That's crazy. Yeah. And nobody's exercising this act. Now they're trying to bring that out as well. Basically, the only thing I see coming forth for Bob Arum is just having a case about the venues. That's about it. But everything else, as to him being a promoter and a manager and making accusations like that, he would have to go directly into what other boxers have said, like Danny Garcia. There was one interview, if I'm not mistaken, it was Ellie Setback. He said, Haymon makes my fight.
Yeah.
So that there alone, along with other boxers saying it as well, it shows you that he's making fights, he's making the fight.
You couldn't get a clearer indication that someone's promoting it. It's almost rubbing your face in a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit. So what?
I can understand, the people that love Floyd and follow TMT and everybody. I can understand the love that they have for Haymon. I can understand other casual boxing fans. That's what he's bringing. He's bringing the casual model. If you really look at it,
yeah.
But, you have a lot of casuals that Floyd Mayweather is better than Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, and it just gets to the point that a lot of hardcore and historians are looking at this like, whoa, this is exactly what's wrong at this certain part of this whole model that he's bringing.
Yeah.
There should be a lot of history of the sport taught, and the boxers that are signed under Haymon, like Keith Thurman, he's doing one hell of a job. He's doing a great job. Shout out to Keith Tom Thurman. He's doing one job bringing back and naming the old school. Boxers and the achievements that are, the work ethic. That's what's missing out of this whole model. You've got catchweights with non-titles. At the same time, and then every week is a catchweight. Then they're doing the catchweights wrong. As we were speaking before, I had mentioned catchweights being done in the past the correct way. eating right, your proper nutrition, doing everything correctly.
So basically, you talk about catch weights there, and lots of other things being wrong with the casual model, which is PBC basically, and Haymon, which they're which you yourself believe, and I do to some degree, that they're trying to create. That obviously.
Yeah. Like if back in the days when the catch weights were done, they were done, proper nutrition, proper training. Everybody made the weight. Like if someone was coming down from weight, they were dehydrated too much. They were, they looked chiseled. They fit the frame. They fit the weight. If they were coming up in weight, they weren't sluggish. They weren't overeating. They didn't take, they didn't the improper calorie intake needed for that. They did it correctly, and now it's like a rush model.
Yeah. Yeah, so
it's like a Russian model. It's like, okay, well, we have 1 month to actually push this for advertising and everything, and then you got 3 months to train.
Yeah.
And okay, I can understand the 3 months of training, but when you're doing a catch weight, I mean, that's oof. It's one hell of a short time. Before it used to be 6 months. They announce it, and like maybe it's just like two months into it, they were already, getting prepared, because it takes a lot.
Yeah. Okay. All right, mate. Well, so what's the perception among boxing fans? I know it's sort of like there seems to me to be a bit of a muddy area between hardcore and casual fans, because as the sport's growing, there seems to be some that know some information and some that know others, and some people seem to tend to side with a promotional company almost and its fighters. Because last year, basically, what I'm struggling to get my head around, I see on social media last year, Al Haymon's name was dirt amongst everyone. It was absolute dirt. And now I'm seeing, everyone's saying thank you, Al Haymon, as a bit of a joke because it's on national TV. Is that enough for American boxing? Just get these catchwords? Because to be honest, I haven't been that impressed with the fights. I'm glad Porter won his fight, but I didn't think that was a very good fight, to be honest. I didn't have great high expectations for it at all, really.
Right.
Broner hasn't been anywhere near. He's had issues since Maidana. Even in his wins, he's won, but he hasn't looked like a world star in any of them. Not even the odd flash maybe. And then you've got Danny Garcia and the Lamont Peterson, who both fight at 140 pounds for God's sake. And people were moaning at the fight. They were both on a card. I think it was when Danny Garcia fought Rod Sulker, and I think Peterson may have been on the undercard. And everyone was saying, well, why aren't they trying to unify the titles? And obviously both with Al Haymon fighters, everyone was saying, Al Haymon fighters aren't fighting each other. Now it seems Al Haymon's like, well, I've got you fighting each other, but we're not going to unify the titles. Which also brings me on to another thing. Is that what Al Haymon is trying to do? Do you think he's trying to completely get rid of the belts, the governing bodies? Do you think?
Adam, I'm so happy that you touched that subject, simply because there's something going around about PBC titles. Okay, now the WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF, right?
To be honest,
on and so forth, right? Now these titles have prestige. Okay, these titles have been made and have been held by the greats, by champions, right?
Yeah.
Regardless the corruption within the the sanctioning bodies that have happened, it still has prestige. Now the PBC titles, I know that boxing and every other sport is supposed to evolve, but now there's certain characteristics, right, that have to evolve in order to make it what it is, right? So what I feel they're trying to do is they're trying to take certain characteristics out of boxing, and they're trying to replace it with other things, like Keith Thurman and the throwback that I feel that are going to be throwback fighters, and they have the throwback feel, and Rigondeaux, and guys that are like totally not being looked at, and they're killers, they're fucking champs, they're real fighters,
Yeah.
It's what they said about the work ethic, and and everybody looking at what the greats have done, the achievement.
Yeah, definitely.
Cleaning. Whatever happened to cleaning out the whole division?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that? Because I think the one that's going to do that at 140 is Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, he's unbelievable at the moment. He's really, he could become the one.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I call him Baby Hearns.
I like it. Yeah.
He's got this nice fight style, same stance, man. He's got a lot of pizzazz, a lot of flair. He's smart. Strong. And he's fighting in angles as well. I mean, right now he's a total package of what we need in boxing, along with Thurman, along with Brook. Along with others. Acolito. That's another for other people like. When he was shown on television, I think it was a couple of weeks back, people looked at him like, oh, wow, all the casuals, oh, my God, we've got a new one. But look at his record. What is it, 43-0? I mean, for them, he was a diamond in the rough, because they weren't paying attention.
Yeah. Well, he came over here.
You see? So for us hardcores and the historians that are much greater than us hardcores that do their homework, he was already known, so we were like, "Yeah, of course, that's Chocolito."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And this is what comes to the turmoil and comes to a lot of warring in all these forums and boxing debates between the Haymon model and the way boxing is supposed to be with the Silver Age and the Golden Era. Now, if you're going to add something new school to it, okay, fine. We do thank you, Al Haymon, for putting boxing on television again for free. Awesome. But now what happens to the pay-per-view model?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they'll probably start, they'll build everything up, and then they'll probably, it's not going to be that hard for a free TV station to start charging pay-per-view, will it? Yeah, they'll blatantly do that.
Exactly. And then you see the problem with that is now every team that Floyd Mayweather had, that Manny Pacquiao had, that Manuel Marquez had, that Canelo Alvarez had, that listen, Oscar De La Hoya, the pay-per-view kings, right? Now the boxers are probably no longer going to be able to try to to even have that feel to their career that they actually estimated money. Now it's going to be on estimated views. On television, which is for free. Okay, but what happens if you dream of becoming one of those greats?
Yeah, it's pay-per-view.
Is that going to be taken away from boxing? I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, these guys have to get their shit together. I think the only answer to this monopolizing boxing is all of them get together and they just basically just make a deal with each other and just monopolize boxing, give it one name, and just keep everything and throw every bit of their flavor into it and just make it one product that everybody enjoys on every level.
Yeah. Well, talking about that, it brings up an interesting point, because obviously, there's a lot more going on in world boxing than just what happens between Top Rank and used to be Golden Boy, now PBC on whatever station you can find.
Yeah.
There seems to be, obviously we've got, Kathy Duva with Main Events. I spoke to her, and obviously the problem she had with getting the Adonis Stevenson Kovalev fight, there's kind of tactics played, and there could have been no way for them to put Kovalev go into a purse bid with the Adonis Stevenson fight. It just would have been suicide, and financially, not in terms of the fight. I think Kovalev wins it for me. I think most people agree, but she's talking, other promoters American promoters seem to be looking at the options of coming over to Europe. Things in the UK are booming at the moment. You've got a lot going on in Germany with your Sauerlands and your K2 promotions. Golovkin seems to like to fight all over the world and try and make it a bit global. Even in Japan, you've got great stuff going on, in the lower weight divisions especially. Do you see, basically...
Oh, yeah.
Do you envisage, basically, Haymon coming unstuck? Because the only person he seems to have good relations, from what I understand, is Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, and I hope that Eddie Hearn actually teaches him a little bit on how to, reach out and, not burn bridges and do business and collaborations and give us, the fight fans, the matches that we want. Because, listen, Eddie Hearn does one hell of a job, giving the UK and the whole audience the fights that they want. They ask for it, here it is.
Yeah.
They used to do that here,
I can sense your frustration, mate. Well, what do you make of the Malignaggi fight? Danny Garcia Malignaggi. I'm not.
Well,
people.
I think that fight. Well, listen, I for one, it's on record. I think Paulie Malignaggi is a great guy, but there's certain things that he says that just makes him look crazy. And he's this smear campaign. You see, this is the thing I have with a problem with Paulie Malignaggi and other fight fans as well. Mouthpiece for this split, brief moment. When he lost to Adrian Broner, he was like, the boxing politics and they're cheating me and all of this and they're cheating other boxers. Do you remember that?
I do. Good point. It's typical Malignaggi.
Okay, now all of a sudden he signed to Haymon, and now there's a smear campaign on Pacquiao now, where it's like, you see, I told you if he was tested, he wouldn't have. So basically, the accusations are still there with Manny Pacquiao being on PEDs, really. But the whole thing was that nobody's bringing up the fact that Pacquiao was tested maybe 12 to 24 times from what was recorded. Now it was shown, okay, and it was reported every time. They took blood out of this man. Now, did they report even one with Floyd? No. So how come Malignaggi isn't saying that? Yeah. He's not speaking that. Regardless of the fact that, Floyd never gives out the information that he took. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even playing field, that's exactly what he says. An even playing field. This playing field has not been even since way back when, And this is the thing that gets me pissed off. It's just the level of competition, and the UK and other boxing forums as well have great action and great fights and great names going up against each other. People fighting their mandatories, champions fighting their mandatories, not number 77, not number 18, number 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, well, brings me on to an interesting point. Let's talk heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder. Yeah. There's talk he's going to fight Lucas Brown. Lucas Brown has been fighting in Wolverhampton, was his last outing, in which I don't know if you've ever heard of Wolverhampton. It's a nice enough town. It's a small town outside of Birmingham. Nothing against Box Nation. They usually put on some good little shows down there. But yeah, Lucas Brown, he's okay. He's undefeated. He hasn't really fought anyone really. And the last guy, Wilder, fought. It seems he kind of fought Stavern, and he's now got two easy rides. What do you make of how Haymon's doing with Wilder? What do you make of that, mate?
Well, I think the same thing that he did with Leo Santa Cruz, Peter Quillen. These are passes. Guys that are champions that have straps. Peter Quillen, he gave up his strap for money. I mean, that was disrespectful to the whole boxing community. I mean, and then you have a lot of people just giving up on this thing, where it's like, I don't want to fight as much, but I'll take the money. Deontay Wilder shows great potential. He's very elusive, evasive, always light on his feet for heavyweight, very fast. But I think that if he gets in the middle of the ring with Klitschko, he'll have problems. If he gets in the middle of the ring with Joshua, he'll definitely lose.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who lose. To be honest, I said that. I said that about Stavern, but he did fight well against Stavern. I will give him that. He did step up. He went the 12 rounds. He looked strong for the whole 12 rounds, and
Yeah.
it was clear after the fight his hands hurt. But yeah, it's obvious that, you know, that it's just not really. But you're talking about the belts here. You know, we've got to look at some of the governing bodies here as well, and they've got to start making some changes, in my opinion. You know, the WBC were being hailed as, oh, they're saving boxing. There was countless bloody YouTube videos.
You know, and I remember, and like the WBC, the WBC, they never enforce a word they say. I remember when they said they were going to strip Floyd and make Manny Pacquiao number one mandatory, right? And Floyd was like, "Oh, I'm just going to give up my belt then." And they never enforced him. They never gave him a fine. Nothing. They never did anything about that. I mean, you know, these guys are basically allowing boxers and promoters to manipulate every way.
Yeah. You've got kind of got people almost on opposite sides of the line, kind of going towards the same direction in some cases. You know, like, what do you think of, you know, the WBO? They seem to be very strict on their, you know, they have their rules about not in two weight classes. I like the fact they're making Bradley champion. I quite like that, actually. I think that's a good move. I think he's a worthy guy for the belt. And then you got the
definitely Bradley. Definitely. You know, listen, a lot of people, you know, they're talking about, you know, under 3. Oh yeah, if you're no good if you have a loss. Really? So then explain to me how Muhammad Ali has 5 losses, 56 wins, right? And he's the greatest, right? And let me guess, he's no good now. This era. Tommy Hearns as well has losses. You know, I mean, Wilfredo, you know, Benitez. I mean, we can keep going on and on and on about the great have losses. Losses come with the job. Losses are learning experience. You're supposed to learn from your loss and come back stronger. And it's like nowadays, it's been taught to every fan and everyone is taught that having a loss makes you a bum. Yeah. And that's totally incorrect. Now I can understand if you have 5 wins and like 25 losses.
Yeah.
Then that's a bum.
Yeah. Yeah, but well, a great example is Lee Haskins, who recently won the bantamweight title. He's had some. He's been avoided a lot, and he's had some losses. I interviewed him the other week. He lost to Rice. What's his name? He lost to someone who Scott Quigg recently knocked out in a couple of rounds. Should have beaten quite comfortably, Lee Haskins, and he spoke about, you know, and he's had 3 losses, and then he's bounced back, and he's looking great and winning a title at 31. Is there, you know, that does seem to be a big perception in the States. Oh, he's lost now, you know, fuck him, pretty much.
Yeah. It's crazy, you know. It's crazy, and I just want to compliment you, man, and say thank you very much for giving everybody over at the YTBC that Kathy Duva. You know, that was a great interview, man.
Cheers, man.
You know, it would be great if they can make Froch Kovalev.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Froch at the moment. One minute he's been out of the ring over a year now. I don't know if there's Golovkin things happening. You know, he's trying to. Eddie Hearn said he's quite open in his interviews and tells you about texts he's sending. Sometimes you've got to wonder if, you know, he's playing a bit of a game. But, you know, he said at the O2, the big O2 show with Kevin Johnson and Joshua, that he'd be making an announcement next week, and we're now a month later. He still hasn't said anything. But yeah, I'd like to see Froch, and he's getting a bit of a hard time over it at the moment. He's having the piss taken out of him quite a bit, in saying England.
Yeah,
what's the perception of Froch in the US at the moment?
I'm sorry?
What's the perception of Carl Froch in the US at the moment?
Well, basically, he's we think of him here as just a confused boxer who needs to make up his mind, you know, before he gets old. You know, he wants to fight with GGG, but, he's just talking. You know, GGG's open for anybody, and he's just talking.
Yeah. Okay, mate. All right. Well, we'll move on from Froch.
You know,
I'm a bit bored of talking about Froch. I've interviewed loads of people, and they all say, well, they want to fight Froch, and it's like, well, you know, he's not. He's fighting.
Another that Kathy Duva in your interview that you had with her, she brought up was Kovalev Ward next year, possibly at 175.
Yeah,
because Ward is fighting at 172.
Yeah,
that is awesome, man.
Yeah, that could work. With Rock Nation, they seem, they're trying to make a bit of a statement, aren't they? And main events, but I can see that happening. That's a really good. Ward spoke about it. He was quite open about speaking about it, and he was pretty much saying, "Yeah, let's get this fight on." So
yeah, and I can also understand a frustration with Haymon trying to make the Stevenson fight. Simply because, with the purse bidding, when she was talking about the purse bidding, she had to reject it simply because they actually had her try to make a fucking decision between going with HBO or going against HBO in order to get the Stevenson fight. That shit was fucking crazy.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Kathy was very, very open with me, actually. And, there's a lot of people don't know. It was published on, transcribed it as well. I published it on OnTheRopesBoxing.com. And a lot of people...
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't know any of that, which goes you to say, which actually brings me on to one more thing we'll talk about Haymon. You mentioned in your video you've done recently, it's a great video, anyone listening, go and check out Jay's channel, actually, it's Jay Cotto, and watch all his stuff, it's wicked. But you mentioned in your video about how deep Haymon's stretch goes, and you talk about some people in the YouTube community now kind of going back on some of that, because I was surprised when you brought it up. I've noticed it myself. Do you really
and I before a lot of asses are gonna hurt, and I came in through the door to the YTBC, letting everybody know I'm about the truth, and the Fight Guru and Blood Boxing and everybody else out there in the YTBC, and it's just basically, it's very evident that certain boxing of channels on YouTube are Haymon affiliated. A lot of bashing, with Arum and other boxing, as well as boxers from the UK. If you don't commend Floyd or anybody on that side, or commend any type of the boxing, should we say, tactics that they consider boxing today, like let's just say, for instance, Blood Boxing brought up this perfect example. Laura, right, did the same thing to Canelo that Floyd Mayweather did, which was be elusive and fight, right? And he lost the fight, right? So now when you say Laura was boxing, they say Laura was running. But if you say Floyd was running, they say Floyd was boxing. So this is the thing, that's called the Mayweather double standard. It's the double standard. So this is what's going around on YouTube, and there are certain uploaders that, like myself and others, that are just basically noticing this, and we're starting to put videos out there and just letting everybody know that, you're selling out.
Yeah.
Selling out the sport. You like to talk about the sport and say the sport is the number one thing, and, but at the same time, look what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, people got to start thinking about boxers like, Gabe Rosado, stopping fights prematurely because they know that he has deep scar tissue, which is bullshit, because the kid could box. You have Mauricio Herrera, getting fucking robbed.
Yeah. It's great.
I mean, you have other boxers that they're not getting their fair share because of these certain, and let me tell you something, people that are out there doubting exactly what I'm saying, or anybody that's going to say exactly what I'm saying or have said it, where, it's impossible. How can this be? How can people from our YouTube channel influence? It was simple. And I say it again. Us uploaders from the YouTube boxing community have a lot of information and get more in depth than these national television sports casting networks.
Yeah.
Good point. Us little underground factions, we give that information guys are paying thousands of dollars on plane flights in order to get, and it's already out there. So we have to take a stronger stand and responsibility and just tell the truth. You know, if boxing is now garbage, and you have opinions that outweigh other opinions that think that that boxing is not garbage today, and sport about 5 years ago, then you need to open your fucking eyes and wake up and listen to the people that have been watching it a long time and are telling you, this is not boxing.
No, it's not. It's not.
You know, it's not a black and white thing. You know, look, I'm happy that Floyd Mayweather, as a black man in America, is successful. I am very happy about that. I am proud of him. I am proud of Al Haymon being a black successful man that he is in America. I am very proud of him. Okay? But it's just the way you're doing the business, the way you're taking the sport, the way you're taking the competitiveness out of the sport, the achievements. You know, people wanted to fight in order to make legacy, and then it was the money. Now it's the money. Fuck a legacy. That's bullshit.
Well, it's people will laugh. I'm putting my neck on the line here a bit, but it's low-level propaganda, really, in boxing terms. Do you know what I mean? That's essentially what it is. If you pretty much, if you shorten down what you just said and looked it up in the dictionary, it would say propaganda. So yeah, it's a funny one. It's a funny old industry. That's for sure, mate.
Yeah, we know what it is. You know, we know what it is, propaganda, but we have to speak and break it down in easier terms, layman terms, because there's a lot of blind people out there. There's a lot of people that are actually saying, fuck Muhammad Ali. And I'm like, what? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Fuck Muhammad Ali. Floyd Mayweather, what? The only legacy Floyd Mayweather is going to leave behind to real boxing fans, hashtag real boxing heads, the only legacy he's leaving behind is that he says it himself. I am a sweepstakes. I am a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at other fighters now, right, other boxers, you know, like they leave a legacy of fighting, you know, of pride, of earning, you know, of learning, of getting their way up there, you know, and it's like, you know, there's definitely different, that's when it becomes different levels in boxing now. The legacy you leave behind, the type of person you were in ring. And I know a lot of guys that know a lot of boxing, and it's very hard for them to place Floyd Mayweather in their top 20 as an all-time great. Maybe an all-time defensive fighter, but all-time, all around, it's very hard for you know, hardcore boxing heads and historians and guys that do their homework to actually look at this and say, you know, these are the same guys that are saying that this is bullshit.
Yeah, I think,
you know, it's bullshit. You know, earlier I was told by someone that back then, Sugar Ray Leonard days, you know, the golden era, right? Back then, they weren't able to pick their fights, right? And I'm saying bullshit. As soon as Sugar Ray Leonard said, hey, make that fight with Hagler, did that. Make those 2 fights with Hearns, did that. Okay? Sugar Ray Leonard generated, I think, almost $100 million in his boxing career. I mean, come on, there were millions going around then. So Floyd is going to be known, like I was saying, back to that, which leads into that, going to be known as the richest athlete. He says it. The richest athlete ever, which is a great accomplishment. That's a great feat.
Yeah,
definitely. He's done the great business in boxing. Very, very great. I have to respect him on that. We all have to respect him. Just like we have to respect Bob Arum, just like we have to respect Don King, who have given us all those great boxing matches, the legendary matches that we still talk shit about today, and compare these guys to those guys of yesteryear, then we have to give Floyd Mayweather respect for having a business mind. Very good. But now the business mind doesn't come into the ring.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not interested in how much you made, how many cards you have. We're interested in who you're fighting. If that's your mandatory, does he match your skill? Are you going to give us our money's worth? Because that shit where less fighting and more money, come on, you're basically telling the boxing fan, go fuck yourself, you're going to get what I give you, which is what they did with the Manny, with the Pacquiao super fight, right? I mean, think about it, the Floyd Mayweather and the Manny Pacquiao super fight. Were you were you satisfied with the package they gave us?
No. The card was shit.
Right? It was more like, here you go, fight fans. Fuck you. You wanted this, man. You're fucking up our plans. Here's the fucking fight. Right? Here it is.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's how I felt. I felt like, here you go. I felt like Floyd on his side was saying, you know what? Fuck you guys. Here's your fucking fight. Take it.
Yeah.
Right? And then Manny Pacquiao's like, okay. Yeah, we got it. Okay, fine. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit weird.
You know, and here's Arum on the other end. Good. I got my money. Okay, no problem. But now what about us?
Yeah.
What about the fans? See, we employ them. We give them their fucking money. See, this is what everybody, people that are listening to this now have to understand. Boxing fans, fight fans, listen, you control everything because of your money.
Of course.
Okay? If you're going to purchase bullshit, you're going to get bullshit.
Yeah.
And then you're going to complain about it.
Well, they're going to do it.
Nothing's going to be.
They'll do it over and over again. Like,
exactly.
It wouldn't.
Exactly. This is why hashtag come back to box is a movement. You take a stand against that. Plus, we donate to boxing charities. You know, and you know, the fans, the boxing fans, even boxers, Mauricio Herrera, he's down with it. You know, Pacquiao, Roy Jones Jr. I mean, there are a lot of boxers that are following this as well. All the boxers, Tim Witherspoon, all the boxers that I have interviewed. You know, Cindy Amador. You know, she just retired on my interview, on my show. You know, I'm telling you, it's going to be a movement where we're not taking shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm.
You know, if I pay $100 for a good pay-per-view, I don't expect 19 minutes out of 36 minutes of boxing of fucking hugging.
Yeah. It's got to be. Well, you got to look at matchmakers. Well, you got to look at the whole thing. It's not. I agree with everything you're saying, Jay. To be honest, like it's more about people seem to enjoy the hype more than the fight. I think that's clear in most of Mayweather's career, in my opinion. You know, I'm a big fan of what he does. I praise Floyd Mayweather as a fighter more than anyone. I've picked him to win every single fight. I predicted the Manny Pacquiao fight exactly how it went because he's one of those fighters who makes great fighters disabled in what they can usually do. But yeah. I think the perception it gives off to people is not good. Well, moving on from that, mate. Yesterday, big news over here. Klitschko Tyson Fury is finally on. End of October. What do you think, mate? What's your first thoughts on it?
Yes. Return of the heavyweight division once again.
Yes.
I'm happy that this is going to go down. This gives a lot of opportunities and possibilities in the heavyweight division. I tell you, Adam, the other interview, I have to commend you. It kicked ass. It was awesome that you had with Bank, Klitschko's trainer. I tell you, man.
Sounds a little bit dodgy, but yeah, you can kind of get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I have to tell you, it was a great interview, and he gave great point on Fury, you know, giving Klitschko a hard time, you know. Klitschko's going to fight, but Fury's coming to fight as well. He's coming to make his point. I think we're going to see the best Fury that we haven't seen in a while. We're going to see the best Fury. He's going to get in shape this fight.
Yeah, well, I think I've spoken to Peter Fury a few times, and I'm pretty sure that will be the case. Peter Fury did an interview, actually. Shout out to Ingram Jones at Bayloric. A little interview with Peter Fury, and very no-nonsense stuff. People have been talking about, it's a problem, the fight's in Germany, because there's been controversy with scorecards before, and obviously it's kind of Wladimir Klitschko's home turf, although he's from the Ukraine. Peter Fury was very much, I don't give a shit where the fight is. I think that's a quote. Really not bothered. One thing I've always been impressed with the Furies is they seem to be a group of people. You know, I've met Peter, I've met Tyson briefly, so I can only talk from what I've seen on the media and what I've seen from him in the ring, especially against Steve Cunningham, although it was a terrible performance, but he got through it. great mental strength.
Yeah.
They seem to have great mental strength. And he seems to be able to act like a complete fool and a bit of an idiot and say some stupid things, but can still completely have his confidence about him. Klitschko's probably one of the other people that has really good mental strength. How important do you think the lead up is to this fight? Do you think there's going to be I personally think there's going to be a lot of effort wasted on two people who can't really be broken mentally?
Yeah, that's you're absolutely correct on that. I listen, you're absolutely correct on that. The mental aspect of this fight, neither men are going to break each other. Here you have Klitschko, who's very concentrated, as the mind of a champion that he has been for years, right? You've got Fury, who brings that mind that I'm coming fuck you up, mate. I'm coming to take your fucking beans, and he's, and you can hit me, but I'm going to hit you harder type attitude. And this is exactly what the heavyweight division needed, and we need more fights like this for this division to come back. I'm so happy. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Actually, Adam, I rubbed my eyes 3 times this morning when I got up and looked on it on the Google news feed. I said, what? Yeah, I said, no, wait, what?
Yeah, well, actually,
I said, boxing still lives.
Yeah,
it still lives, because this is a match we've been calling for how many years now?
Yeah, it's funny actually. Hey, am I right in thinking HBO have got the rights in America for this fight?
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good for, I think it just coming back to what we talked about earlier, the global thing. People shouldn't forget.
Yeah, it's going to be great, man. It's great for boxing as well. HBO, innovators and stuff. I commend Showtime as well. I really do. I just don't see them being really successful after Haymon's contract is up with them, and he totally goes over to the local networks. I think they're going to be scratching and clawing, actually.
Yeah, I agree with you. To be honest, I agree with you. But I could.
And it's a shame that a lot of casuals that are going to listen to this. Well, I'm just going to learn you something. The first fighter, and this is a throwback fighter. The first fighter to actually fight and bring the Showtime box was Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Really? Was it? I didn't know that, actually.
Oh, yeah. And, it's a shame, the way a great like that started it and the way it's going to go out.
Yeah, it is a bit, isn't it? It's kind of dead.
It's offensive. It's like you see, it's like putting fake titties on a fucking beautiful woman that doesn't need any fucking fixing.
That's a good analogy.
This is exactly what's boxing. The boxing is fine as fuck. You don't need any other prosthetics put on this bitch. Leave her alone.
Yeah, just nurture it.
I'm going to say it one more time. Fight fans, they need to get together, all of them. Haymon, Arum, De La Hoya, Duva, fucking Hopkins, Hearn, all of them. Get together, monopolize together, give it one name, and here we go. Everybody breaks bread. Everybody's fucking rich. All the boxers are happy. I have to commend, Haymon on giving the boxers their money. Awesome. Right? But now what happens after that, though?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I don't know what's in the contract. That's between them. I'm just saying, good things always end.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't really blame anyone for in any profession whatsoever taking the highest paycheck, because I don't know about you.
Oh, no, never that. But we can't blame them. We can't blame them when they actually not blame them. We can't hold them.
Yeah,
as boxing fans, can't hold them up to their word when they say, I'm never selling out. I'm going to be champ. I'm fighting all the way, right? And then when they win that belt, this is for my fans. This is right. So we have to hold them up to the highest standard that they put themselves up, right? And so when they say that I'm going to be fighting the best, but then you go and you fight somebody that's ranked 77th or some shit like that, of course we're looking at you like, what, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
It's shit like that. We have to start holding these fighters up to the standards they put themselves up to. I mean, who else better, to give them a reality check but the fans?
Yeah. Yeah, well, they'll stop. They'll stop turning up. Well, I think that was evident with Amir Khan when he fought Algieri. I think a little bit of that happened there. Like, from what I heard, a lot of empty seats from where I was watching it.
See, look, the thing with Khan, you know, he's going around looking for super fights, and I respect Khan. So first of all, let's get this straight, and I'm always sure you're going to agree with me. Khan is a B-level fighter. Okay.
Yeah.
He's B-level. So, yeah, he's B-level. You know, he's one of those fighters that, you know, he's a great competitor, but he needs to step his game up.
Yeah.
Because the people that he's lost to have surpassed him in the sport.
Yeah, you look at Garcia.
So now here he comes trying to ask for a Manny Pacquiao match, a Floyd Mayweather match, you know, and you're not up to that standard. You're not in that elite level. You're not at elite level. So, you know, so us fans are saying the only way you're going to be that way is if like Brook.
Yeah, well, he was. This is good. I'm glad you're having someone on from the States. This is really good. Before the Khan Brook thing's been going on for years. Like when they were both like national level fighting for British titles and things like that.
Yeah.
And he did say, Brook, win a title, give me a worthy fight. Went over to beat Sean Porter. I thought it was a very good performance, in my opinion. I was surprised it was a split decision.
Yep, it was. It actually was, man. Great strategy.
Yeah, great ring craft in the whole fight. I liked everything. Yeah, there was some holding, some tying up, but the guy's got to go and win a title. So, he's playing the game. Then he said, "Oh, now I want to go for Mayweather." First of all, I think everyone's agreed I don't think he really deserves Mayweather. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think he must have known, Al Haymon's advising him. He must know that what's going on.
Right.
I don't know why. I'm sure he tells them. I'm sure he doesn't treat them like children. They're grown men. So, basically what I want to find out is Khan Brook a big fight in the US? Because it's massive here. Is that a fight people would tune into over there?
Khan Brook?
Yeah. Is
Oh yeah, people here in the States are telling Amir Khan, in order for you to become that elite fighter, you have to beat Kell Brook. There's no other super fight out there for you but that one.
Really?
As well as your country is asking for that, so you have to give them what they want as well. You see, us fans here, the hardcore at least, and we're all about, listen, you give us what we want simply because without our money and our attention, you wouldn't be having what you have. So basically, a boxer's career wouldn't be without the fans, because then he would be boxing by himself with the other boxer with no one watching and making no money. So basically, it gets down to people are pushing Amir Khan to get him to fight Kell Brook. Kell Brook here in the United States is respected.
Yeah.
Okay, he just finished beating pound for pound, welterweight, full-fledged welterweight at that. Sean Porter, and the title, and beat him convincingly, and even said, hey, come get it.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw an interview, I think it was by Sky Sports or somewhere. They were sitting right next to each other, and Khan tried to lie and say, "Yeah, I taught you a lesson in sparring." And Kell Brook looked at him and said, "Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Come on." And that right there has to be resolved.
Yeah, because it needs to. It's a fight I really want to see. It's a little bit frustrating because there's some big fights that aren't going on at the moment. You've got Carl Frampton and Scott Quigg. Frampton's just Simon Martinez. I don't want the hell, Sky Sports and Eddie Hearn played some games which I can understand. Cyclone Promotions didn't, it was kind of poor taste just chucking a £1.5 million check out there live. I think there's a better way to do things, so that didn't really help. So that doesn't look like it's happening. You've got Brooke Khan. I don't think that's. I'll be really surprised if that does happen. And a few other things.
I think he was heard saying that he wanted to fight Thurman now.
Who, Khan?
Yeah.
Really? Now he wants Thurman. Anyone, but I don't think.
Yeah, I mean Thurman wants he wants to fight him. He told him he'd give him a nice welcome to to 147.
Yeah, I've heard a few things. Yeah, I think I'd be very surprised if Khan took.
But Brooke Thurman would be great.
Yeah, that would be a great fight. I think that's a big fight down the line for me. Brooke and taking Mayweather out of the equation, I'd say Brooke and Thurman could go on and kind of start ruling the division, and we could maybe start seeing some big mega fights, maybe one or two between Brooke and Thurman. Well, who?
Oh yeah, and I tell you right now, Errol Spence, he's great. I mean, that's a great prospect, but to throw him into the ring with Keith Thurman at an early stage of his career, man,
Nah, that's a poor move.
That's premature, man.
He needs another good 4 or 5 good fights, but not one time. One time's a bit special, I think. Finally, mate.
And even if they put Errol Spence against Brooke,
yeah, I think that
it's still premature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's far too. Yeah, I wouldn't. But who'd he beat? Phil LaGreco. Like, no offense to Phil LaGreco, I doubt you're listening, but really, I don't think LaGreco's had a fight. He didn't have a fight since he lost to Porter. Am I right? He may have had another one, but he only found out about the fight
no.
a couple of days before, or like the day before, wasn't it? So, it looks that natural ability can't be denied, but yeah.
Yeah, I think somebody pulled out of the Errol Spence fight, and he stepped in.
Yeah, he did. What I want to end on is what a lot of people haven't spoken about. It's a little bit premature, but I don't get really a chance to talk about some of the world name fighters. Pacquiao. Obviously, I was very disappointed with him against Mayweather. I was, to be honest, I've been a massive Pacquiao fan my whole life. He kind of re-sparked me in my younger years to love boxing even more.
Yeah.
Where does he go from here? Yeah. Because we know Pacquiao's got a few fights left. We know there's some money. I know he's made silly money. Go on, mate.
Yeah, I mean, well, the way I feel about Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, before I get into that, I'm going to make this very brief.
Yeah.
I feel that these two men have pulled off the biggest heist in history, okay? And it was done legally, okay? These men, I'm talking about $190 million to $200 billion rich, okay? There's not one bank robbery out there in history that even sums up to that. But these guys pulled off the biggest heist, and this is exactly why boxing fans are very disappointed. Now, Manny Pacquiao has 1 year left. Now, with this surgery that he's undergone, I would have to say that his next match could be not either. One of his matches, because he'll have 2 left. I think it should Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
Okay, and Danny Garcia. Why not?
Okay. Well, Terence Crawford, actually, Bob Arum has said in interviews he likes Pacquiao Crawford. He did say he likes that fight. I personally, I think Crawford could really do some harm to Pacquiao. Thinking off it on the top of my head.
Wait.
I do.
Yes, he can.
I think
he could, and that's exactly what makes the fight. The fight dynamic very great.
I think if you have a look inside the promoter's mind as well, you've got you've got, there's no better way to really turn Crawford into a star. I'm sure Bob Aaron's thinking about that with him beating Pacquiao in a really good fight.
I mean, if he was to knock Pacquiao out or win a UD over him, oh man, I mean, he's already known the sky's the limit after that.
Yeah. Is I can see Khan happening. I really can see that happening. I can see that fight happening with Pacquiao. Although you have got the Al Haymon thing, so that's there. But I see, there's an opportunity there to make a lot of money in Asia.
It could happen. I mean, I could see it, but I see that fight going down the same way he beat Algieri.
Yeah, similar. Yeah.
It's proven. I mean, I'm not going on a triangle theory here, but the Khan Algieri fight, they looked mirror image to me. They fought mirror image to me.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Okay. Well,
so
yeah,
it should have been a draw.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't far off from that. I wasn't far off from a draw. I did give it to Khan, but I wasn't only a point or two away. So, what do you think Pacquiao can do? Like, it's a bit of a shame to me. I've got this horrible feeling he's just going to be. I think he's going to get knocked out 2 or 3 more times against really good people in the HBO stable, and that's it. Or do you think he can prove me wrong?
No, because when Pacquiao comes back, he comes back strong. I mean, we've all seen him.
Good point. Yeah.
That's one thing we all have great respect. Manny Pacquiao's, art. He's a fighter, man, and we got to give it to him. He's one of the greats, and I see him conquering maybe out of his 2 fights, maybe one more fight, and then him being defeated, on the way out by passing the torch sort of type loss.
Yeah, like we talked about
Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
I see, because Top Rank has produced a lot of champions and a lot of superstars, and Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao, they fit in there perfectly. So I think the next Top Rank superstar is going to be Terence Crawford.
Yeah, in that fashion. To be honest, I'm 100% with you on that. I'd go, if I could put a bet on that, I think I would. Mate. Well, mate, it's been absolutely amazing to get you on for the second episode of the Boxing Weekly. I've had a great time talking to you, mate. I love the way you say it how it is. I like the way you back up your statements. Anyone watching, any subscribers of mine, go and see Jay Cotto. Go and check out his stuff. Big shout out to Mr. Chris Neville, you cheeky thing, over at the fightguru.com. Shout out to boxingnewsandviews.com. Shout out to ontheropesboxing.com. And come on here next week. Brilliant to have you on, Jay. Hope you had a good time. And
oh man, I had a blast, man. It's a great show, man. Anytime, man. Anytime. Anytime you need me, I'm there, brother. Anytime.
Wicked, mate. Good stuff.
Give a quick shout out to YTBC and the Fight Guru, man.
Yeah.
So give you a fat shout out, my brother.